Welcome to the Dixie Doggers podcast. We're here to share knowledge and heritage. We hope y'all enjoy. Southern Cross. It's the best cut gear in the business. We run it on our dogs. Hit up Dave Williams at Southern Cross Cut Gear. Go to www.hogdoggear.com. If you're looking for Brahma and Brahma Cross cattle, Marc Rankin with the Rankin Ranch 38 Cattle Company, he specializes in them. He is the man for the job. He's based out of Oglethorpe County, Georgia, and you can contact him at 407-832-2077.
If you're buying or selling land, farms, or hunting property, these folks know land. Phil Wilson with UC Hunting Properties, 678-791-3483.
We're good. All right, everybody. Dixie Doggers right here, right back to you. Got an episode coming tonight. Got a man from Michigan. And it's a little bit different than some of the guests that we've had on previously. This man right here is dealing with a lot of the bigger type dogs, the Molliser types, Mastiffs, Dogos, different big dogs. In the hog dog world, the pit bull is king. That's there's no arguing about it. But you have a lot of people who want to try something else because you get them little game dogs, they can get a little hot and they're a little hard to handle. So Mr. Javier along with us tonight from Catch Dog Concepts, he might can shine a little light on you with some good information, some true factual information on some of these bigger dogs. So Mr. Javier, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
We're still live.
Doing good.
All right. I'm glad to talk to you. Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you taking your time out and getting on here with us and talking with us. I know you're a busy man. You got other things going. You got your Instagram, Catch Dog Concepts. Like I said, y'all listeners out there, y'all get on there and check that out. And then you also got a podcast, and we'll get into that as more as we go and we talk. But as far as that, just kind of, I've already introduced you, but just go ahead and lay it out what all you do and what got you, what grabbed you and made you look into doing this. What made you want to do this?
Okay. All right. So just from the beginning, like I think most people within this I've talked to, they really like have been in the dogs since they were children. My uncles both bred dogs and still breed dogs to this day. I grew up with, first off, my uncle's English Mastiff Cross. He was a big dog. He was my introduction to the bigger dogs. He was real protective. He wasn't too physical. He was gentle. And I grew a love for him as well. He passed away. My uncle got into the Dobermans. I grew up with both of his Doberman females. And just dogs was just around me all the time. Really animals in general, but dogs, it was something that everybody around me did. My grandparents, they bred Dobermans back in the 80s and 90s as well. They had a few litters and had a few dogs. So it's like I've been around these dogs for a while, and I haven't got started in a program or anything like that. But I think with my podcast and my Instagram, this was just a step for me to get my foot in the door before I get the dogs that I want, get the program that I want, and just meet the right people so I can be put in the right position when it comes to purchasing, connecting, and even just doing work with other people like I'm doing with you guys tonight.
Yes. And my hat's off to you.
That's the correct thing to do.
Yes. Look, guys like me, and there's a million other guys that have it way better than I have. But I'm going to tell you right now, like luck has nothing to do with what has happened in my life.
Yeah.
For myself, I was put in that position. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, my grandfather on both sides of the family, my dad, my uncles, everybody in my family had these game dogs. So when it was my turn, like I was raised in it. Not everybody's raised in it that same way. Like you said, you were around them and you're doing the right thing by saying, okay, look, I'm going to research and make sure this is the dog I want.
Doing your homework.
Right.
So I didn't even really care for all the game dog stuff. Once I got old enough to stand from, across the corner from another man and his machine, I didn't really care to do all that. I was like, man, this is my dog. I love these dogs. I don't want to shit wreck this dog on purpose every time. So now it's like we found found a happy medium to where I could work dogs and get out here in the hog dog world. There's thousands of people like that. But there's also thousands of people that say, man, I'm going to give me some dogs today and don't know what in the hell they are doing.
Go get some shades.
Right. Yeah, right.
You know how many times I've talked to people who said, oh, a dogo bit me, or a pit bull bit me, a big bully bit me, or a cane corso bit me. I'm like, well, why? Why would it bite you?
Right.
Oh, well, I got it from so-and-so for $50. Well, that's a problem.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes. So what's your preferred breed? What are you going after? What are you thinking about?
So I've been doing some proper research. I really I've learned about in the past, I want to say I haven't even been active a year. I think I recently just hit 6 months officially. It's June of being an active podcast and an informational channel where I pull other people on and talk about these dogs and learn from them. And I haven't actually, I'm sorry, I just lost the question. I'm sorry.
No, like what breed are you looking at? Like you really want to work with.
So, like I said, I've learned about other breeds and found some breeds that I didn't even know existed. But I've really taken a liking to the South African Borbal.
Yeah.
That's the dog I really want to put my hands on. I've seen one in person, actually, a relative one, but I didn't know what it was at the time. I was, I think, 15 years old. I'm only 18 now. I graduated last year. And I think that surprises a lot of people because I'm just in the field.
That surprised me right then. You could ask Nate. I was like, I looked at it like, what?
Yeah. I'm only 18 years old, and I'm putting my feet on the ground, and I'm getting in the field doing the footwork to make connections, understand these dogs, and make sure I'm set up enough to where I know what to do once I get this dog. Because I have owned a mastiff breed, the Presa Canario. I didn't know what to do with them. That dog needs to go out and walk. That dog needs to go out and be stimulated to a degree. And couldn't do that for that dog because I didn't know what to do with that dog. That dog was put in my hands. Of course, it was purchased, but I wasn't told anything. I wasn't taught he needs to get walked. He needs a diet. He needs this and that. I never got any of that. So with this podcast, it really helped me to understand where I want to be at and what I want to learn with these dogs so I can succeed and put my dogs in the best position.
This is kind of surreal. I mean, like really, because it's like it's you're doing it. It's totally different, and all this is like really new to me because like I didn't know anything. I didn't research you. I didn't do none of that, and I try not to. I don't know our guest until the day we have them.
Yeah, I do this very.
Nathan never tells me who it is. It's like, bam, this is who we got. Okay, and I got to roll it. But
yeah, that's bold. I like that though. At the same time,
he performs better with this. He'll get bored with questions.
Oh
yeah, he'll start overthinking it,
shit.
and he'll start getting bored during the interview. So I got to keep it. He's got to be stimulated to a higher degree than what I have to be. Yeah. So I got to put the pressure.
I'm like a little terrier. I got to have something going.
He needs some pressure.
So doing the way you're doing that, it's almost reverse. Because you get guys like me is like, well, I'm giving out all this information because I've absorbed this. But at the same time, in the same sentence, I do the same thing. I call these other guys and I get information from them. I mean, you get the correct information from the correct people and your start will be so much better. You won't have all the damn, because a lot of times, man, the dog world's a little different now because like 30 years ago, you wasn't getting in the door with nobody.
No.
Unless you were there putting physical sweat in or money out your pocket.
Yeah.
Like how many stories have you heard about going and working the entire summer doing dog chores on 60 to 100 head and you get one puppy at the end of the summer?
You might get
one puppy.
You might
and
get
that's if you already know them.
That's right.
You got to know them to even get the job. Or the slave work, because I mean, you're going and doing it for free.
Yeah, that's
like you ain't getting paid.
No, you're not getting paid.
It's a bunch of sweat equity.
That's all it is. And with you making these contacts and talking to the right people in the right places, the quality of dog you're going to start with is going to be top notch. That's the way I think it would be.
Right, most definitely.
So you're gaining you're gaining a lot by doing this, and it's bold. I think that's very bold to say, and to be open and honest about it, like you are. You're like, hey, I don't have a bunch of dogs. I don't do all this like that, but this is what I want to do.
I want to learn.
Right.
That says a multitude of things, and it's kind of funny because I know quite a few people in them big dog worlds.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of these guys, you know.
I seen it. I seen you, I think, I don't know, a few months ago. You hadn't been doing it very long at all. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I like the way he's thinking. He's thinking a lot about stuff. I was like, I don't even know if he has dogs. I was like, I don't know what he's got going on. I was like, oh, I'm curious. Let me see. I just got to know. I was like, he's trying. He's doing something. He's putting out content, and it's good content. So it's interesting enough to got my curiosity.
Right. I appreciate you for that too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's because a lot of guys, they're going to talk shit, and they're going to be like, oh, well, he don't know nothing. But at the same time, they don't know nothing either.
You don't know everything.
Hey, they don't matter.
Yeah.
Hey, I have people with stuff where they're like, I didn't even know that, and they've owned dogs, they've run programs, and may not even have dogs anymore because they're
That's
older.
right.
But and some have dogs now. They have active programs, and they're like, oh, you don't know more than me. I have dogs and you don't. And I'm like, man, I'm talking to these people. I'm talking to people that have talked to people that are 80 years old that have been breeding 40 to 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm these connections. I'm gonna say I did an interview with a guy. He's a business owner. I asked him, what's a great business tip that you could give me? He was like, the money in your pocket is not as important as the connections in your phone.
Yep,
The phone will bring you to a lot of different places and put you in great positions. Money couldn't even fathom of putting you there.
That's a fact.
100%.
We was talking about that last week. We were in South Texas at an undisclosed location. And this is literally, when I say multi-million, I mean like $40+ million facility. And
Wow.
I literally kind of laughed. I was like, sometimes it's all right being a old dumbass redneck boy who likes to hog hunt because I can't afford that, bro. I can't afford to do that.
No,
but I got those connections, and I got those people that are in the places. And I don't have all of them by no means, but it's a work in progress. It's a never ending work in progress. But you learn and you get to meet people.
Meet some really good people.
Yeah,
for sure. Just unapologetically being you. And if people like that, they'll connect you, they'll talk to you, and they'll be like, man, come on. I've been told by plenty of people right now, come out, come see my program, come hog, come do this and that with me. I'm like, man, I never thought I would have got to this position where people invite me out to their place in Louisiana, Arkansas, all over.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just interests me, and it surprises me at the same time. Because before I was just making videos and talking to people just to learn. But now I've been put in different positions and met different people. And I think it's a great way to look at it and be like, this is the fruit of my labor. But this is just the beginning. Like I said, this is 6 months in.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I'm gonna definitely be keeping up with it so I can see where it's at the next 6 months.
Right, man.
And I, like I said, and I don't take that. I don't say it lightly either. But like I said, I know some people. I know some guys I'm going to put you in contact with that they deal with these type breeds, and they are masters of their craft. Like no joke, legitimately. And it ain't gonna be I can get a puppy for $2,000. No, it's $10,000. Ain't gonna touch some of them, and that's just the way it is. But at the same time, if it's the right fit for the right program, these are the same type of guys that will set you up and be like, okay, this is what we need to do. If it's the right fit. And that's a big statement on my end, because like I said, there's a few guys that'll stick their neck out and take a chance, especially if it's somebody who's out there putting in the work.
Right.
And I know that's not why we even discussed it, or why you're on the podcast, or why we invited you. It wasn't for that. It like I said, the only reason I'm saying that is because I didn't even know. Like I said, I don't even know our guest until it's time to do it. And so all this, I'm having to process all this as we go. That's why a lot of time I'm talking like crazy because I'm trying to process everything, and then I've got all this. I had to get all this laid out.
Yeah.
So it's one of those deals where like I think I know about 3 guys that they could benefit from you, and you could benefit from them at the same time.
Okay.
And I think it's gonna be all right there. We're gonna fix you up.
Okay. I appreciate
I love to see young men getting out there and getting busy.
Right. Salute to y'all, man. Like I said, I like y'all show. I met y'all through Dean Ross.
Yeah.
But I watched that episode and I watched a couple more episodes. I'm like, man, these are some real cool dudes. I like what they're talking about. And it's different. Y'all need to put y'all face on the camera.
Yeah.
People I know
used
put
to.
their face on the camera.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about doing it again.
People just wanted more content. I was like, well, I can't do more footage. That just takes more space,
so
more
much time.
Like it's a crazy amount. And it was like more content,
because I was born good looking instead of rich. I ain't got no money. So I got to work all the time.
Hey, I understand. But I was like, and then I seen like this little Bluetooth thing, and I'd seen some people doing like call-in interviews, and I was like, shit, we could just do like 2 of those a week at the same amount of time to edit, because it's just audio files to edit then. And like you can, since it's mainly just audio files, I can kind of nitpick it a little bit better, and then the sound quality is better. And I'm like, and most people they were driving the tractor, they're listening to us while we're at work. So that's also why I was like, well, I mean, about half of them are watching the video, but like the majority of the people that are like really dedicated and we're getting the most feedback from, they're driving tractor, operating equipment and stuff like that. I mean, making the shit go round. So I'm like, I'm going to meet their demand or driving a truck or something.
Yeah, we're trying to put out more.
Yeah.
Put out like 2 shows a week instead of doing 1 every 2 weeks. Because when we first started out, man, it was tough. It's still tough. Like, I mean.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some weeks you just get behind, don't put out any episodes, might put out 3 the next week, try and play catch up. But like,
because we're busy.
It just goes or don't. Busy. I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. Like, I mean, I'm working right now. I'm not in the career I want to be in, but still, I mean, I'm still there. I got to make money, save up money.
That's right.
Just scheduling. That's the main thing. That's tough. Trying to schedule and get people, make sure you have enough time, see how long they want to be on the camera or want to talk to you on the podcast. There's a lot of management with that. And then some people, I want to get people out of the country. I just talked to a guy in Italy. I want to talk to him. I got to make sure I'm not up at 5 o'clock in the morning trying to talk about dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And plus, like, another thing with the camera is, like, we was doing, like, a lot of interviews at, like, competitions and stuff, and people get weird when that camera gets on them.
Oh, yeah.
They start clamming up, they'll be sweating and shit, and I was like, look, man, like, calm, like, just get a little buzz, talk a little shit, like, don't even look over here.
And they can't help it.
And then they just be staring at it. And I was like, look, man, look at him.
It was funny.
They'll get on here and they'll get talking some shit. Because then they just feel like they're talking across the table or something. And even like with the phone call interviews, I think with like the general people that we've interviewed, they've been a lot more calm with it.
Oh yeah. All right.
It's definitely.
Go ahead.
I think like I went to an American Bully show. You know, most of the people that watch my content are working dog people, or they like dogs that aren't that don't have as much problems as American Bully may have than others. I did it to get some perspective from other people and not just hear from working dog people that may not even own the dog. But just to hear what they had to say, you know, because they're like an unheard voice. I feel like I like some American Bullies, like the XLs. I like some of those, not all of them. But some people was like, man, what you doing? This is a little weird. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, it's different. I'm out there in the field. I'm recording. I'm talking to these people. I'm getting their perspective and seeing what ethics they're withholding inside the dog, because a lot of people are speaking for them and not with them or to them.
Exactly.
And I think just getting perspective from the horse's mouth is one of the best things to do.
I agree.
And them people will clam up in front of that camera.
Yes.
I asked a few people. I was like, man, is it cool if I record, ask you a couple questions? He's like, oh no, I can't. I'll freeze up. So everybody's not meant to be in front of the camera. I've definitely picked that up doing this.
Yeah. And I think the first couple of episodes that we done, it was like didn't talk near as much.
No.
But then I don't know. It didn't take long. It was like, that's it, just might as well just roll with it,
Yeah.
and it went from there.
It gets easier.
Yeah, it definitely does. It gets to where you can, like, doing this kind of stuff just off the hip. It's easy for me because I've been around a lot of different breeds, a lot of different people, a lot of different dog folks. So I have a wide variety that I can talk about. Right. But for some folks, like, they don't. And so it's got to be a lot harder. And I bullshit my way through it if I had to. Whatever. I've been bullshitting my way through life a long time. But
yeah, it's not hard to get boxed into one area or a corner. It can happen quick.
Yes. And, but like what you're doing, you're, learning all these different things about these different breeds. That's the same thing that all of us older guys did, except we didn't have it on the phone. I mean, we had to read it. If we didn't read it from a book, then we would have to read notes or a notebook that our dad had, or our uncle or grandpa or somebody, or it would have to be from sitting around listening to them tell us, stories and then, like, anecdotes or, little tips and tricks on health and how to exercise your dogs properly, the right diet, and all these different breeds, their diet is a little different. You have to tweak it, and you have to figure out what works for your dog, because your dog's going to be different than the next guy's dog.
Yep. Even dogs in the breed will be different. They'll have allergy one might not have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I've seen over the years that's not discussed a lot. It's probably discussed more on the inner circle in these bigger, in the monster type breeds, is the allergies. Yeah. Like a lot of the big dogs, they have allergies. They have a lot of skin allergies.
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, like the Neapolitan. I don't want to villainize them because I hate when people do it.
No, you go ahead, tell anything, any kind of information you got that you can put out, do it.
Okay. I mean, the Neapolitan, people, just with them, I definitely will reference this dog probably a couple times when we talk. I don't know how long you guys want me on here.
As long as you want to be on.
I'll definitely reference them throughout the questions you ask me and the topics we talk about. But just the blue coat, that alone is it causes allergy. They can't be on the sun too long. Mm-hmm. They'll die. The American Bully has been crossbred with Mastiff. A lot of people use the Neapolitan Mastiff and don't say it. The American Bullies, most of them are allergic to chicken. And they're blue dogs usually that are really allergic to it. But it's because of that coat coloring. And a lot of people don't take into factor coat coloring can be an issue with a lot of things within breeds. Molosses as well, because they're crossbred. Like I said, I'm a reference to Neo again. That's a real girthy, big dog. People crossbreed them into the Borbal, and that's when you see the blue Borbals, the black Borbals that are real thick. And then you hear people saying, "Oh, the Borbals, they're starting to have skin conditions and allergies and all this." It comes from Neapolitan Mastiffs or some of these other breeds that have been crossed in. So I think one thing with that is people don't talk about the crossing they do or the back dog's genetics. That's what may be a parent to most of these allergy things you see coming up.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, because it's probably spoken about more now than it ever has been, but it's still not out in the open.
Yeah, no, it's not. No,
because you get homeboy over here who's got a line of Borbals that are, like you said, they're black, or they got the black brindle, some nice color that's not normal. And
yeah, like
yeah. And then they don't say, well, now 2 generations ago I had a little bit of Neo in there to help with that. If they would just say that, like, it's nobody. There's people are still going to want the dog.
Yeah,
they're still going to want the pup. They just need to know the truth.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of hidden hands and secrets within just breeding alone, and it would answer a lot of questions to people's questions and why they're wise and what is this doing here? What is all this doing here? I mean, just if you would say what you crossed in or say what's behind your line, it will help a lot of people, especially ones that don't want to spend $5,000 on a dog because the health problem they didn't even think was in the breed showed up.
Exactly. That's like those fluffy Frenchies, bro. That makes me want. I just look. There has never been no fluffy Frenchie.
No.
And then people are like, "Oh yeah, it's this and it's this Merle and it's this and that." No, you added something.
Pekingese in there. Come on now.
You had an accidental breeding and it looked cool, and then you started breeding them. That's the truth. Don't lie.
But I don't. For some reason, they just feel like they don't have to or don't want to say it. But
exactly.
You just got to take whatever comes with that. You know you did it. I think it would just be nice to tell everybody, hey, I did this happened, or I did this crossing to see what would happen. Which is nothing wrong with crossing. I like it. I like fan dogs out here and all this.
We do it all the time. Like we literally do it all the time. We cross different cur dogs, like a blackmouth cur to a Catahoula or to a Kimmer or mountain cur.
But certain breeds don't mix well. There's just
some that don't.
Like a lot of your terriers, like why? Like usually the genetics are so hardcore isolated. There's no point in crossbreeding.
And if you do, it's like you took something away.
Yeah.
People don't talk about that either. Yeah. They only talk about what they added.
Yeah. Well,
no, what did you lose? Exactly. What'd you lose?
Exactly.
Like a bird bull. They're like, we added hunt.
A jack bred to a pit bull. No, like, why do that?
Yeah, like
to me, that's a terrier cross. Is like, yeah, you could do it, but like the breeds are so good retrospectively on their own.
Yep, you don't need it.
You're making a lesser dog, in my opinion, instead of keeping it isolated. But then, like with the cur dog genes, I feel like they're so variable that they're more fluid when they mix. Because they're basically all same concept.
It's like that with those bigger dogs. Like
a lot of the big dogs mix
with the Corsos and
I didn't know that about the coat color, so that's making me.
Oh yeah.
So
that's why you see like these big. Look at Blue. We got a dog in the house. He's dark blue color, and they were like, "Oh, he's a pit." Then it was like, "Oh, he's XL bully," and then he's this. And I told my wife, I said, "That dog is a mixed breed mutt," and I love him. Like that's my buddy.
Right.
But the reality of it is he's none of that. He's just a mixed up dog. He's got a dark blue coat and he itches all the time. And chicken is the worst thing for him. My wife feeds him chicken all the time because for some reason she can't understand. Like, stop feeding him chicken. And you know what I'm saying? But his is not horrible. It'll be like he'll go for a week and then it'll get a little dry and flaky. But he doesn't have like the dry patches or spots on him. You can't see the irritation on the skin.
Yeah, the red marks or whatever. Yeah. Got you.
Yeah, it doesn't get that bad.
No, but people don't know that though. Like they don't like. And the bully is a famous dog. Like people don't know that they have all these allergies or these things that come with them. And if you let them know, as far as breeders, I'm not a breeder. I'm not none of that. So somebody might be like, you don't know what he's talking about. He ain't got no dogs. Like, what is he saying all this for? But if you just let people know what you've seen with these dogs and what you know, I think it'll be beneficial to them. Then they'll know the dogs will have a happier life, or the people will have a happier life, but they don't got to keep taking them to the vet.
Yeah, because if it's an unforeseen circumstance, then that's when it becomes an issue.
Right.
Because
transparency is key.
Yes. It doesn't matter how much you love the dog. Because, I mean, well, I guess it does. Because if you love the dog, like I talk about this dog in the house all the time. I hate this dog. But that's my buddy. If something happens to him, we're going to the vet. We're going to get fixed up. Right. Now, if I had purchased him for $2,500 as a puppy, and he starts itching all the time, knowing that he's been taken care of correctly and he's up to date on his shots and his vet records are good. And then he's got all these skin irritations or allergies and they didn't tell me this. And then when he grows up, he doesn't have a certain look that I wanted. I'm like, it's like he's mixed with something. I'm not going to be as thrilled about it.
Right. Yeah, most definitely.
I'm not. He was a rescue dog and it was understood from the get-go that this is not. When I looked at him, I knew what I was getting.
we seen that a buddy I went to high school with. We went over to his house to go check some traps.
Oh my God.
And
bro.
he had this bulldog.
Oh, he said it's a game dog
A
first.
game dog. And it's probably 16 inches tall.
Shit, maybe.
Wow.
14 to 16 inches tall.
And about that wide.
And twice that long.
And got a noggin on him.
His son bitch.
His head's the size of mine or bigger.
If you
I got a
took-
big ass head.
If you took one of the prettiest bullies, not a triple leg.
He wasn't bow legged.
No.
He
If
just had
you
short
just took
legs.
a regular XL and you cropped his ears about a 3/8 crop,
yeah, because he had his ears
and you
cropped.
took his head and you put it on a Basset Hound, that's what you got.
But he was also
Wow.
still muscular, which was the
Oh,
crazy part.
It was
'Cause
the
he was cut.
stupidest looking dog. There was a picture on the internet a few years ago, and it was a dog that looked like that.
Yeah.
But like he had a long body, but he had a pit bull head. This is a real thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That man asked me, he said, now Joey, he said, now, I don't know. And he didn't. He did didn't know a whole lot. He said, I don't know a whole lot about these bulldogs. He said, I had a good bulldog. He said, and it died. He said, and I wanted to get me one. He said, and that's what we went and bought. He said, but that don't look right, does it? I said, no, sir, that don't look right.
Not good.
But he loved the dog.
The dog was gaming.
Oh, it was game as it gets. But at the same time, he didn't know what he was looking at or what he was looking for. So that come out to the point where you just unapologetically love your dog.
Right. Yeah, most definitely.
Now, if he had known what he was supposed to get, when that dog hit about 6 months old, he would have made a phone call and said, look, I want my damn money back.
Yeah. Right. I know somebody. I don't know if he's gonna watch this. I don't want him to be mad at me. But he's made it publicly known.
Well, that's all that matters.
Right. Yeah, he's made it publicly known. So I'm not putting his business out there or nothing like that. Definitely don't want to do that. He's purchased 2 dogs. He spent almost $20,000 on these dogs. Bought them from a notable breeder, and is brandishing them as XL Pit Bulls. He thought he was getting an XL Pit Bull, but he wasn't. He was getting an American Bully. He did a DNA test that came back 100% American Bully, and then he did another one that said American Staffordshire Terrier, and like 6% Pit Bull, 2% Neapolitan Mastiff, and 5% American Bulldog.
Sound like they were just throwing it to him. Whichever one sticks, that's what it is.
Yeah, but he thought he was getting an XL American Pit Bull Terrier, but he was really getting an American Bully or even a crossed up dog, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to an extent, all the bullies and stuff, when they first started, there was, they had to do some mixing to make that dog. But then once it became that breed, then that's where the line held true.
Right.
I don't think you should be able to DNA test one and that same dog come back with all that in it.
No, yeah, most definitely. It's supposed to say
maybe a little bit of pit. It could have said, okay, well, you got the pit bull in there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But not no Neo. Like,
no, definitely.
What's that in there for?
What is this doing here?
Yeah,
it was only 2%, but still, I mean, this shouldn't even be in the dog. Like,
no.
And the dogs, but then again, the dogs are blue also.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you something too.
Yes, without a doubt. So, with doing all this digging and learning, what are some of the things you've learned? Like we were talking about the coat colors. Mm-hmm. What are other things that you've learned that you could tell somebody if they were wanting to get into it just the same way you are, and they were new to it, and they had them some money saved up and they were going to go purchase a dog? What do they need to look for? What do they need to do?
I've actually had this a little bit. It was a situational thing, but I mean, the first thing I tell you, do your research. And I wouldn't even tell you to go watch Catch Dog Concepts or go watch so and so. I tell you, do your own proper research. If you would like to, watch a couple videos. But I'm gonna tell you, get you a book or do some research. Call the breeder you're thinking about talking to or purchasing from. Talk to them. Ask them what the dog's temperament's like, the lifespan. Are there any health problems that may occur within these dogs at some point in time? What do I have to do to take care of this dog and give it a happy life? What is the maintenance like? Do I have to walk this dog 2 times a day, 3 times a day, 1 time a day? or not at all. Just things like that, just to understand the dog. Like I said, do some research, study the history of the dog. What is this dog? What was this dog bred for?
Mm-hmm.
What it came about with it once they bred all those breeds together to get this dog? Has it stayed true to what it was bred for throughout the times and the years? Just things like that, just to understand what you have and what you want.
Yeah, I think it would definitely help people right there, just that information alone itself. So with these, we've discussed a little bit on the Neo and some of the Borbal stuff. So what about the Corso and let me see which other one. Maybe the Dogo. What have you learned? What have you learned on that?
I know a good amount about the Press Canario as well.
Okay,
but,
all right.
Which would you like me to start on? I don't want to run your show or
go. Just take off. It's your show.
Okay, okay. Well, the Press Canario, like I said, I own one. These dogs they were bred to be dispatchers on farms, utility dogs really. They killed dogs that came on the farm or predators that came on the farm and was wreaking havoc on livestock. Protected families, protected the homestead. But at some point they were used for dogfighting as well.
Mm-hmm.
With that, dogfighting was banned in the area. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember the exact. I'm not a geography guy, but like in the I can't remember the name right now. I'm not gonna say it. But the area where they originate from,
Mm-hmm.
Dogfighting was banned. So then that caused for the dog not to be used. It wasn't a purpose they felt like for it. So the breed died out eventually. So there was programs to bring the dog back. With this, they brought over to the islands, the Canary Islands. That's what it is.
Yeah, Canary Islands. Yeah.
They brought over tons and tons of breeds. But they all bred them back to the original breed, the Bardino Mahuero, which is a dog on the Canary Islands as well. It looks like a little shepherd, somewhat. But they say that's where the presser gets its fire from, its intensity. But the point is they imported dogs, Gila Brasileiros, Neapolitan Mastiffs, Dobermans, Old English Bulldogs.
I'm laughing at Nate. I was showing Nate before I asked these questions. I wrote down the last one. I wrote the Cane Corso, and then I wrote the Press Canario, and then I wrote the breeds that it took to make those dogs. And you were going back, going over. And I showed Nate. I said, "You see what I wrote down?" Because I'll do that, and I'll be like, I wonder if I still know all this shit.
Right. Oh, but yeah, I mean, they just brought, like I said, most of these will probably surprise you. Like Doberman. Yes. When I first learned a Doberman was brought over, I'm like, what is this? Doesn't even look like what an old presser looked like back then. Like they use it, but they just use it. And of course, they created a standard with that. Definitely some different phenotypes within a breed.
Mm-hmm.
But some people say it's not a dog for everybody. Some people say it's a good family dog. Some people say it's not. But I think that comes with lines and what the dog was how the dog has been bred over the years and what they've looked for.
Well, the looks, like you said, on the looks have changed on these breeds so much from the originals.
Oh yeah,
it's absolutely ridiculous. Like you see the Neo, the look on a Neo now, and compared to 600 years ago, it's crazy. The Bull Terrier, same way.
Yeah.
The Dogo, same way. The Gold Terriers, all of them were different. Like you said, they would bring all these breeds in and add a little something. And sometimes it worked out. And then sometimes it would take something away and they would let it go. And some of those dogs that got let go, you don't think people wasn't doing that shit a couple 100 years ago? They were like, oh yeah, this is Bull Terrier over here. Give me 3 fish and a loaf of bread and I'm going to hook you up. Even though it's a mutt.
Yeah. They were definitely doing
dog peddling back in the day.
Most definitely.
I had on them gowns and them Roman sandals. Dog peddlers. Dog peddlers.
Yeah,
they're still doing it.
I mean, they traded them back then. I mean, it was like they were like money, somewhat. They just traded them for, like you said, fish, bread. They there were most dogs. Some of them were held as prizes or as statement of where you are in life as far as your money, how rich are you, your status, your monetary status. That's what I was saying.
Yep.
That was a lot of these breeds. But with the presser, like I said, it died out completely. That's a lot of these master breeds. The English Mastiff we know today is not there now. I mean, that's not what the dog was then. This dog, the English Mastiff, was bred before World War I think II might have been. They used a dog, but the dog died out. People couldn't feed. May have been one, but the dog died out. People couldn't feed this dog. It was a big dog. They had to feed their families, so they couldn't take care of the dogs. They were putting them down, giving them away or whatever, and they had to restore the breed. But with that, it caused the dog to be different. Before, I'd hear some people say these dogs were able to catch deer and hold them and kill them, and able to hunt and function. And then now, say we have couch potatoes, we have these big blobs of dogs that are said to be English Mastiffs, but like the English Mastiff was bred with Saint Bernard, French Mastiff, or Doggy de Bordeaux, Bull Mastiff. Those were the main three that were used, and you can still see it today. Some English Mastiffs have long hair, some are piebald. What's the other one? And then some have the shorter muzzle like the Bull Mastiff.
Yep.
So it's just a lot of phenols that come with that, and that's just recessiveness and just the methods of old, and that caused the dogs to change a lot. I feel like.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of like mixed up like big dogs and taking on different phenotypes, like what I've noticed is that like a lot of lines, like especially like with the cur dogs and other things, and like Catahoulas, for example, I'd say that's probably the biggest one. Because there's so many people that own Catahoulas that are also just show dogs, or they bought registered puppies and they're house dogs. They don't do nothing with them. And you see after like 2 or 3 generations, you can see that these dogs just get so, like you said, blobby. And it seems like just like over time, no matter what, if you're not working the dogs, you're not going to keep these slimmer, trimmer, more fit looking dogs, because those are the ones that typically perform better. And especially like you're in the Southeast, or if you're hunting year round, like it's going to be hot at some point in time, and a skinnier dog can run longer. They can run harder. They can push themselves. I mean, there's no 400-pound marathon runners that I know of. And if there was, I imagine he is going to have a much higher temperature at the end of that son of a bitch than
he's
somebody
going to have a heat stroke.
Yeah, he's going to get fucked up.
Like me, I'm real big into powerlifting. I like to powerlift a little bit. I haven't competed or anything like that, of course not. But yeah, I mean, me in a marathon, that would be ugly. That would be.
And that's the thing. A lot of people, they will not. That's the simplest analogy that you can use, like you just said, the marathon runners. And I still have had people that are supposed to be dog people, and they'll look and they'll be like, "You need to feed your dog." I'm like,
"Right,
my dog's not skinny. My dog's in shape. Like you can see every muscle in his body. Now, if you don't see no muscles and it's just bones, well, yeah, he's probably not in good shape then.
Yeah, you need to eat a little bit more. You need to take care of them right.
And I've got a couple of dogs out there right now that they run. I'm talking about they run. Okay, so you take them out and you hunt them, you turn them loose, and they run 30 miles that day. And they do that 3 or 4 days a week. That's not what your average dog is going to do. So their caloric intake has to be way up there, and you have to feed a very good food. We mix ours up. You know, we use a 30-20 on a kibble, and then we feed raw a lot. So you gotta have that good diet to go with them, no matter if they're a show dog or if they are an athlete. Either one, that diet is very important for their all around performance overall. And but people still, if you got a dog that's in shape and looks good, people are going to be like, "Man, you need to feed that dog."
Yeah, I know. Even them dogs that get on a chain spot, they'll get skinny.
Oh yeah.
When you're abusing your dog, you're not feeding it. But that analogy with the marathon runner and say the power lifter, like me, I bench press 405 pounds at 17 years old.
Yeah.
with that, I mean, do you think I would excel? And I'm 300 plus pounds. Do you think I would excel in a marathon or a track race? I wouldn't. And people, I think that's the same thing people do within the breed and their purpose.
Yeah.
Like I said, I represent the Neapolitan a lot of times on here. But the Neapolitan Mastiff, people say the dog isn't functional. The dog can't move at all.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some great Neapolitan Mastiffs out there. We can even just talk about their structure and their and the physical aspect of them, not even them moving or performing a function.
What about all that loose skin?
Well, that comes with what they were bred for.
I know.
So
there you go. Now, we're talking. Now we're talking. I seen people they like, man, them dogs got all that loose skin on their neck. I said, well, yeah, that's what it's for. It's functional. Right.
Yeah.
How do you figure? Yeah. So if a wolf grabs a hold of that skin, well, he ain't got no organ. He ain't got the windpipe. He ain't got none of that. It's just skin. If you grab me through my skin, I can get you off of me, or I can stay the course. I can hold in. But now, if you've got my bones, or if you got a deep bite on me and I can't move,
no,
that's what that skin's for.
So,
like that's like me. Say I walk in somebody's backyard, they got a Neapolitan Mastiff. He grabbed my arm. I try and pull him off of me. I'm gonna be grabbing skin.
Yep,
it's gonna be difficult, and they're a heavier dog. Also, I'm supposed to. If I can't pull that dog off of me with one arm, especially if he's grabbing the other one. That just makes them so efficient in their function and their job. Like the Neapolitan Mastiff, I can't speak a little bit. I can't speak too much on the Neo. I got a mentor, but he says I can't talk too much. But I'm gonna definitely give y'all some great information on it. Like I've read old literature from the Italian book, which was in English, but it was from an Italian person. Neos were always kept heavy. They were bigger dogs that were kept heavy. They even crippled these dogs. They cut their toes off so they wouldn't roam too far from home, and keep them in the backyard, or keep them on the castle, keep them on an estate, so they will do their job. And that is whenever somebody or animal or a man comes on there to deter them, or if that man or beast is persistent on coming into that property, then they will attack them and kill them quickly.
We'll be back after a quick break.
A quick thanks to supporters of the Dixie Doggers podcast: Southern Cross Cut Gear, UC Hunting Properties, Rankin Ranch 38 Cattle Company, Animal Housing Solutions, Boars N Broads, Ada Y Transport, Crockett Taxidermy and Processing.
That was what their function was for. Yeah. They weren't built for endurance. Like I know we both have an audience that are real big on the working dog. But I think some of these working dog people really put what they want these dogs to be onto these dogs.
Oh yeah.
But they've thousands of years to do that one function I just stated and you stated some of. And I think they've been doing a pretty good job. They're still around. They're not dead or extinct. And they're not an endurance breed. They're supposed to be at home. They're not supposed to run 30 miles like you just said your dog.
That's right.
There's a function breed, and I think people got to realize that and stop putting what they want out of the dog onto the dog.
That 100%. That's one of those things there. Like the dogs that we use to run have been bred since the 1600s over here.
Right.
You know, the American Foxhound or the Running Walker, the July, the Trig Hound, the Goodman Hound, whatever. And I just started messing with some of those. I've had some in the past, but I really just started messing with them more here lately. And it's like, but I knew the breed before I ever messed with it. You know, I've researched it. I've talked with countless people that have been doing this with, probably 1,000 years between them of experience. And so I knew what I was getting into, you know.
Yeah, that takes you a long way to understand what the dog was bred for and understand its history and what it went through.
And then we have other guys who get the same exact dog and they're like, well, I want mine to be silent and I want him to do this and this. I'm like, you can't change that dog. Like,
no,
don't change it. Just get a different damn dog.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Go get you a beagle or something.
And that's put on the bigger dogs a lot. Like they're like, oh, this dog can't do this and that. Okay, but we just talked about this dog chasing somebody for a mile. I don't think that's what they're used for. That's why they're heavy. That's why they're
Mm-hmm.
big. That's why they grow so big. They're not supposed to go far from home. They're supposed to make sure nobody comes on this property or comes in this house.
Tell the audience out there how big they're supposed to be.
So Neos range from it's a wider range than some of these, I don't know, terriers or these smaller, like even the hounds.
Mm-hmm.
Neos range from 150 to 200 pounds easily. And I've even seen dogs at 226 pounds.
Yep.
And that's just off of them growing, just being that big. Neos also develop a little bit slower. That's mainly all of the big dogs, but like I'm sure you've seen those dryer Neos back then, or those dogs that look like Corsos, but they say were Neos.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard that those were dogs that just were younger, that weren't developed all the way. Some of them develop a little bit more wrinkle as they get older.
Yeah.
But there's variance within these dogs. Also, the Neo, they there's a dry look, which is more of a Corso look, you'll say. Then there's an in between look, and then there's the what most people say excessive or the overdone look, which is all the loose skin or just that real big dog.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that was maintained at certain areas where the breedings were occurring. You know, you got these one group of guys who like all the excess skin and they try to keep it traditional. And then you got this next group of guys that's like, man, I like this look. You know, that tends to happen with every breed that I found.
You're absolutely right. But those three looks also can show up in a litter.
Oh yeah, in the same litter.
In the same litter. Yeah. It can show up that dry look, that in between look, and then that excessive look. All show up in that. And that some people don't know that, but that's what the dogs are. Their recessiveness creates that. Like you'll have a dog that was a champion in 1980, and you have a dog now at 2020. It'll look just like that dog from 1980 in the litter now.
That's 100% on that, because, and I wish more people would kind of research whether it's a pet or hunting dog or whatever. Yeah, and I think you guys, this younger generation, I think there's a lot more of y'all that are researching because the research is readily available.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of files. It's a lot of old articles. I mean, we're at an advantage than say like somebody from your age group that in the dog world. You guys just didn't have that. Like we could argue right now, and I can go to Google, pull up an article, and just disprove whatever you said, and you can do the same thing now. But that's just we have those tools now.
But I've said that before. I'm like, I'm kind of jealous of it because it's like, man, I had to learn all this shit the hard way. But at the same time, it's like, if I'd have had that advantage, I would have used it.
Yeah,
we just didn't have it. And so our advantage was having some old timers who would tell us a few things here and there, and then we just had to learn. And so that's one reason, like, why we started this podcast here, was so I could kind of pass on what little bit of knowledge I've got. And then not just that, I can talk to guys my age and older and be like, look, get on here and start telling this younger generation what we need. And I've had them guys be like, man, I ain't telling them shit. They can learn the hard way just like I did. I said, for what? Why? What are you proving? Why is that a secret? All you're doing is showing how damn dumb you are.
Right. Just let it help us improve. I mean, you can't die. You're going to die with it. But, it's not good for anybody at the end of the day. You'll just die with that information. Say if you do have it, they'll have it. But then I think they may be like, man, I'm not going to be able to go. This is valuable information that someone may be seeking after and needs that. So why would not go out there and spread this information and make sure that these people know what it was.
And see, it's a good thing. Like guys your age, here you are, 18 years old.
Yeah,
you're in the middle of the social media world, and you can spread this information, and you can spread true informational content. And there's going to be a lot of guys your age and younger that are going to look out. They're going to look up to you and be like, well, I'm going to listen to him because you stuck your neck out and you're like, I'm going to do this shit, and you done it. And
absolutely,
and that takes a lot. That's a trendsetter. That's a pace setter. That's somebody who's who's making his mark. And don't get me wrong, there's guys that have done the same type of thing, but most of them don't make it because they already know everything.
Right.
The only reason they done it is because they think that they're smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
They think they know it all. You know?
Yeah.
But see, you getting the correct people on your podcast or doing interviews with the right guys who have been doing this stuff for years and years, you're getting all the you're getting the best information there is.
Right.
You know? And if they're willing to talk to you and express it, shit, you got it. You know? I wish more people would do it.
Yeah. One thing I'm starting to do now, I did get in a lot more of band dog content or the crossing content. This is like, we could talk about this band dogs alone for probably an hour. But I'm getting away from it a little bit just so I can get more into what these people know. Most people aren't going to purchase a band dog. I mean, it's supposed to be a high drive dog that has a job, that needs a job. So now I'm going to get more into, of course, I'm going to focus on the Molosses, and I'm going to touch on the Bulldogs, the Pit Bulls. I'm going to touch on all that, of course. But what I like, and I think this translates to breeding also. I do what I like on my channel, and if people like it or rock with it, then that's okay. But I'm still going to talk about the Molosses, the Masters. I'm going to still talk about them, and then whoever follows that. I think most people that breed, they follow for trends, and they follow for not most of them. I don't want to say most of them. Let me clear that up. But some people, they breed for trends, and it's not going to get them anywhere. I think if people stay in their lane, do their thing, it's just going to benefit you at the end of the day. And whoever likes it, likes it. If people are going to like it because it's going to be genuine, you're going to be unapologetically yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've been. I've been unapologetically myself. And I'll be quick to tell you if I don't know something, I don't know it. And if I was wrong, I'm going to say, my bad, I was wrong, you guys.
That's the best way to be. Like you said, there's a couple of guys, Lee Robinson, with the American Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he done his own thing.
Yeah.
He don't give a damn what nobody liked or what they didn't like, but look at what he's created. I mean, he has a phenomenal breed there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I recently somebody that works with him, kennel partner of his. Yeah, I like the Sentinel, and surprisingly, I have a lot of people that are not surprisingly, but younger dogmen that are like, man, I want you to interview Lee Robinson. I like to see you talk to Lee Robinson and ask him some questions we may all have. And I think just talking to the older generation and informing the younger generation will just benefit all of us, really.
Yeah, it definitely will. Like I said, we've interviewed Lee. I've talked with him and messed with dogs over the years. He don't live, but I don't know. He's probably about 4 hours from us in Mississippi. So, but then you got look at Camelot Pitts. Like, I really dig his stuff because it's like he has a bunch of this Sorrells dogs and stuff over here, and he's like these are the American Pit Bull Terrier. This are the Camelot line of dogs here. This is an XL dog. This is, and he goes through and he explains all of it, and he's got all of it separated, and he keeps it to a T. And I know over the years, there's a lot of people give him shit and talk shit and stuff. But like you said, he's unapologetically him, and he does it correctly. He breeds the best way that I know how. I follow the way he's bred stuff before. And it's the same way I would breed. And he's created and produced consistently really good stock. That's the end goal.
Right.
The end goal is for the last one to be better than the first one.
Absolutely.
And the one before that. Each one should try to be better.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to breed the same thing. I mean, there's always improvements to be made.
Mm-hmm.
Temper, structure. I mean, it's just stuff that I can always work on. Even with just podcasting, there's stuff that I can work on. And I just said I'm going to be making improvements and be focusing on things I think need to be focused on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just one thing, just focusing on what you think needs to get done. It needs to be better. It just translates all over. And I was going to ask you have you guys interviewed Camelot?
No, I have not.
Okay. You guys did.
No, I haven't. I actually I sent him a message, I think, last week. No, it was week before we went to Mexico. So that'd be week before last. But I hadn't heard nothing back.
Gotcha.
So, but
Yeah,
I think he's somebody to definitely to interview.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love his program. I mean, he's done this thing
Yeah.
all in the pit bull world, and he definitely has built his look on what he wants his dogs to look like.
Mm-hmm. And
So shout
they're
out to
functional dogs.
Yeah, most definitely.
I've seen some really nice.
I mean,
looking
even
ones.
like you look at them big red son bitches. I mean, them ears clip. I mean,
it's hard.
they looking
They
good.
look good.
You know what I mean? Now, but like I said, the part I like is where he'll walk up with his game dog. He's like, this is out of GameStop. You know, he's like, this is not this over here. He's openly honest about it.
And I think that's also, some people say that he's trying to say his bullies or his pit bull dogs are all American pit bull terrier.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that they've been putting out there about him.
Yeah, but it's not, but they're not.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's trying to break that misconception that's out there.
I mean, I can remember 20 years ago going to weight pools and stuff around here, and you would have some Camelot stuff, and those dogs were just they were great for what they were doing. We would do protection work. They're hell on a sleeve. I know that, the ones I work with. But they were definitely not American Pit Bull Terrier.
Right.
You know, they were definitely not a game dog.
Yeah.
They were some gamey son of guns, but they were, you know, it's a different style dog.
It is, yeah. Most definitely.
I think they make some really good like catch dogs, because they got that drive, and it's kind of like the same thing with the Sentinels. The Sentinel's a little bigger dog.
Yeah.
They're not huge, but they got a lot of drive. They got a good bite. And I've seen a few of them in action, and I know some guys who had them for years and run them shit all the time. Like Jason, he's run one for, man, I don't know how many years, a lot of years. Keaton's he just had that one female down there at Lee's getting bred up. Yeah. He had that dozer dog, or that might have been Jason's dog, that dozer dog. Maybe anyway, they like these dogs, they work really good. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of guys that I know that first thing they do is they try a dogo. And they're like, man, these dogos are not as hard as these band dogs or these bigger pit bulls.
Right.
Well, no, because that's not what they were bred for.
Yeah.
They're a pack animal. You put four of them on the ground and then tell me how you feel about it.
Right. But people just don't understand. Like I said, I mean, we've touched on it. I'm not going to keep repeating it, but you just got to understand what the breed was bred for.
Yeah.
Like, and some people even say the Dogo Argentino was bred for dog fighting. That's not true. It was bred to be one of the most ultimate hunting dogs.
Yes.
And a family guardian as well.
And that's the way they run those dogs. They take a couple of them, 2 to 4, and they get on their horses, and the vaqueros and gauchos, they take off and they ride through the hills, the desert, the mountains, or whatever. And those animals go out and they search and hunt.
Right.
And they find their prey and they catch it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pack of them. So I've seen some dogos that were badass. I've
seen a few that were studs.
Yeah, they were hammers. But that wasn't consistent.
No.
Throughout that.
Right.
I also never met anybody here that actually ran them like they was designed.
No, that's what I said. Everybody never ran
was using them as a fucking lead-in catch dog, and it was just asking a lot from what the dog.
They wanted a white pit bull.
Yeah, that's all they wanted.
That's it. That's all it comes down to. We should have just got you a white pit bull.
Go get you a white pit bull.
Yeah,
right.
It would have worked a little better, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't want to touch off the topic, but I think it's on topic. What you guys experienced with Great Dane?
You know, I was just about to ask, like, what you knew about Great Danes. I literally just thought of that. That's funny as shit.
We can talk about it. So what I know about them, I actually have a friend. She's a real hardcore Dane enthusiast. I mean, we've talked for hours just talking about the Great Dane, the state of it. Some people might get mad at me if I say something on here, but I'm gonna say it though. Uh, but the Great Dane, from my understanding and what we've talked about, the Great Dane is a dog that was bred to be the perfect balance of power and speed. They were created. They were originally called the Boar Hound or the Boars Hun. There's a couple different names.
Yep.
They were bred to be hog hunters. I mean, they hunted and they caught game. They were running. They're the original running catch dog, and they're also great guardians or protectors. They've done that throughout history. And some people, another breed I think is villainized for being something that it was before that it's not now, or just being trash as a whole. Which my friend, she's really trying to break that stigma on them being a dog that isn't capable of being a great hunting dog or just being able to perform as a whole. And some people even still say that, but I look at their dogs, I'm like, man, you got a Great Dane in your dog.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say that, I get a little irritated because you have that dog in your dog for some reason. You can't say that you had that dog in your dog for, I don't know, let's say the speed and the power of the Great Dane. No, you got more traits than that with it once you bred that dog in.
Mm-hmm.
Not to get off the topic of the Great Dane, but just just the villainization of them. People utilize them, and a lot of these breeds have been created with them because they're just, I mean, they're a great dog. Like I said, the perfect balance of speed and power, running catch dog, fluent movement, and I don't know way too much, but I know some people don't even call them mastiffs because of their the hound influence in them.
Yeah. I know a couple of guys that were in Texas and they ran straight Great Danes.
Yeah.
And which they do a lot of field work, which is, they see the hogs and then they send the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And those dogs can cover ground really quick. And like you said, they're powerful dogs.
They are.
They were phenomenal for what they were doing.
Right.
I don't know how they would work here because of how thick it is. And I've taught the environment, geographical location.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is, like I've talked with Dean Ross before about, like his style of running catch dog. And I've had the same, very similar styles. The wolfhound crosses, stag hounds, greyhounds, whippets, Saluki, all those, and then mixed up of every combination as well. They do pretty good for more open running, or if you got to go into the brush, 100 yards or 200 yards.
Right.
But when they have to really get in there and go, they tend to be a little on the large side.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to. I'd love to have just one big badass Great Dane that I could just turn loose and let him go out there and handle business. And I don't doubt that he couldn't do it at all. But some of the places that we hunt, we literally watched the dog the other day, Alan's dog, that yellow dog, run through there and just hit the briars, and he got hung up. Was it Alan's dog or was it Christian's dog yesterday or the day before? He just hit the briars and just got stopped.
He was trying to push it. He just couldn't
go. And that dog weighed 60 pounds. And he couldn't get through. So imagine a dog that weighs 150 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like, man, that goes to the part of like doing our research. Like, man, do we really need a dog like this?
Right.
I would love it. We run a lot of dogs that are smaller. And to be honest with you, you got to have more of them. You can't just run one. But if you want a one out dog, that wolfhound or that Great Dane or any type dog like that, they can handle it. Like they can do it. They can do it on a big hog.
And their height is an advantage as well. I mean, they're just able to move real well and put their force over the top of that hog once they.
That wolfhound, he could manhandle a hog. He could make him go where he wanted.
And they're just so strong.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a smaller pig, like they're just slinging them. They're ragdolling.
Yeah, if it's 100 pounds or less, like, he can just pick it up and bring it to you.
Like he's dragging the other dogs with and they're on the ass end, like caught with, because he's got the whole head.
But I wanted the wolfhound, or I wanted some that were gamey, had a lot of drive. Well,
Yeah.
mine had too much drive. He literally,
man.
last week, he run himself to absolute death.
Was a wolfhound?
Yes.
Okay.
Turn him loose. He would not come. He wouldn't coming back.
He get like 30 yards. He got 40 yards from us at the closest.
But how many miles did he run though?
I don't know.
Several miles.
Yeah, he ran
in the heat.
We was trying to cut him off while he's crossed the road. He just kept going.
And I've had other people. They're like, "Well, man, them dogs, they can't. You can't do them like that." Well, the other dogs I had on the ground, they handled it just fine. Didn't have any trouble with them. Wow. And they kept running. We picked them up. We carried them again that night. So it's like some dogs are made for it for certain areas, and they're better, and then some dogs are not. And we just proved that part because like we travel, we don't go to one or two spots. We go to one or two spots every month and take all these different breeds, and we're like, well, let's try this dog here or this dog here and see what works better. And man, it's crazy the dogs that will. The hide terrier, he's still down there in South Texas right now. He handled the temperature twice as good as any.
Insanely good.
I'm talking about way better than any dog. And he's got a coat on him that he looks like he's got a jacket on. His hair's so thick.
Yeah.
Dude didn't even get hot.
That's crazy.
That double coat, he could just cool off so quick. Like but he also had self-preservation.
Yep.
He'd start getting real hot and he'd slow down or he'd come back. If you don't have the mental capacity to have self-preservation, like you're just going to get in a bind eventually, no matter what.
That's a smart dog.
Exactly.
Yeah, my wolfhound, he wasn't. Yeah, and that was the problem. And I don't
like he'd catch a pig and he might be laying on top of it if he just
he would go to complete exhaustion, fall out.
It's like, buddy, like
every time.
Like, calm down, man.
Oh, we're sitting there, we're pumping IV fluids in him. I mean, it's a nonstop fight with him to keep him going. And I'm like, and I'll be honest, like the guys that were down there, they were overly impressed with him. They were like, we have never seen one move this good ever. But he moved too fast and too good.
Right.
That the heat was too much for him.
Had too much dip on his chip.
Yep.
I thought he was going to pull through, but
that son bitch was crazy.
He was wild. He's a good dog, though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's a bad
The
dude.
only thing I don't like about a lot of the larger breeds is that they have a shorter lifespan just in general. Like, they could just randomly die. Because we had one before, we raised her to 2 years old. It's like, all right, she's 2. Fit to start pushing her. And they just come up there and she's asleep in the doghouse. It's like, okay.
Well, that's like the stag hounds and stuff.
She was a stag hound.
The stags and stuff like that. I've heard that. And I've had several of them. And every single one of them have done that. They've had just like a heart attack and just died.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. A lot of the guys that have those type running dogs, they told me they're like, well, sometimes they just don't live a long life. But now with these bigger,
they have a lot of heart health issues. I think.
Yeah, I don't think their heart's big enough for their body. Maybe don't seem like.
I'm not exactly sure. I'm not that well.
Maybe they need to find a better doctor, better heart doctor. Something. Get on some blood pressure medicine.
Need some blood thinners.
The pressure's too much for them.
Are you familiar with the wolfhound's history?
A little bit.
So I've recently learned that the dog actually is a recreation now. So they use Great Dane, Borzoi, and Scottish Deerhound.
Yeah, the Deerhound.
To recreate the breed because I know it died out after
I can see the Borzoi in that dog, the way his mouth, like his
you could look at this one and see the Borzoi in him.
I didn't know the history of the wolfhound, so that makes a lot of sense.
But I do know that they did the recreation on this one, and then they added a quarter Deerhound. It was a half and half, and they bred back, and so the one I had was actually a quarter Deerhound.
Okay,
wow. A quarter full Deerhound too. And I don't know if that might have had a little something else to do with it. I don't know. He was 130?
I think he was like 130. He was a leaner dog.
Yeah.
He wasn't a super broad. He
wasn't huge, to move. He had a good front end.
He was extremely strong, extremely durable.
He was very catch minded. Like he knew how to catch and hold, without a doubt. I'd like that in a dog that was a little bit shorter and a little broader.
If you get like 80 pounds, 90 pounds, same build.
Well,
Sound
I
like a
mean,
nice.
kind of like the Dogo build.
Yeah.
I like the Dogo build.
I like a lot of the Dogo builds.
I just haven't seen any that really work for like what we do.
Yeah.
Man, I know a lady that does protection work with her dogos.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she got some killers, man.
hell
She
yeah.
got some killers. But she also hunts them. She doesn't she does every now and then, but she doesn't do it like year round. I think she goes out and hog hunts every now and then. She lives in California, but she hunts them on smaller game like raccoons and possums, and one of them recently ran into a coyote. Handle business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she got a cool program.
Most Dogo breeders that I've seen or know, like they're serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like they ain't fucking around. That like they're not cutting no corners, and they ain't saving no money.
No.
Like
they really gotta be serious. Like I think they just mold into what their dogs are.
Yeah.
You gotta be serious with those dogs. You can't dilly dally with them.
I think that's the
No.
problem, like you said, with a lot of people not knowing the breeds and not doing the research and saying, okay, man, I want a Dogo. Then they go buy one for $600. Well, first off, I'm going to tell you right now, if you found one for $600, it's probably not going to be no show enough Dogo.
Oh no.
It's going to be some backyard bred up shit. And
And I've seen good dogs come out of that. But
I have
it's
to,
not as
but
consistent.
you're going to get one.
Yeah,
you're gonna get
it's
one out
not
of 20?
consistent.
They can say whatever they want. They can say whatever they want, but they a damn lie. If they are, then guess what? You'd be charging $10,000. Because if they're that consistent, you know what you got, and you ain't got to worry if it's going to show up. Because it's going to show up every time. But you get some of the guys that I know, I mean, you get pups for, $2,000, $3,000, and they guarantee them. They're like,
Right.
I guarantee these pups to be healthy. I guarantee these pups to work. If it don't, call me, and I'll put one in your hands that will.
Yeah, that's bold.
And those type breeders there, that's who I would go to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you get what you pay for.
Big. Yeah, right. Not too big, and they really love their dogs, and they put the time in with them.
Mm-hmm. But also there's a lot of show dogs
Mm-hmm.
that kind of, and a lot of those breeds have been adopted by the show people because they're preserving those breeds. I've heard
Right.
people talk trash about it and say, man, they're ruining that breed. Actually, they saved that breed. And the only reason that breed's alive is because they still have them.
Right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
The Airedale Terrier, that's one of them. A lot of people take to dog shows. A lot of show people.
Yeah.
But I've got some, and I've had some over the years. I promise you. I
They
don't give a
put in
damn
work.
once you swing and they get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Airedales, man. Them some nice looking dogs, but like you said, I've seen some get active.
Yes. Everyone
Definitely.
I've had would get active. Everyone.
They're kind of
Wow.
quirky dogs.
Yeah. But they'll be calm as hell. And the
they're
next thing you
slow.
know, it's on.
It seems like they stay puppies for a really long time.
Yeah, they're mature slow.
They're very smart dogs. Like, I remember one time we had this one Airedale, this one Gyp dog. I can't remember her damn name. This is when I was in like middle school. And like we would like feed them some bread. Occasionally we'd buy bread from the bread store, give it to the pigs and to the dogs, like just like one day a week or something like that. And I was going out there like throwing those bread, and she would grab it and she would sling them back at me. And we would sit there and throw the bread in like it was, I don't know, we was
That was
playing.
April.
Yeah, it was April. It
A
was
dog
April.
named April I had.
I couldn't remember.
Because we had all them damn females, and they were, I don't know who named them. I think it might have been Aaron.
Well,
It was April,
got
May,
like
June, and something else. I was like all the months of the damn year.
Yeah, we got like 4 or 5 different sets over the course of like 4 or 5 different years. It seemed
I
like
had
every year.
I had 25 that year, for 2 years.
It seemed like every year there for a while, like somebody was like, "Here's these Airedales," and he was like, "Hell yeah, I got." Look
Well, they didn't know how to test them.
Yeah, they like Yohani was like, "I got a couple
No,
Airedales."
Yohani knew how to test
Yeah,
them.
Yohani was just sandbagging. He wanted them other dogs. We traded around with some sight hounds. And he's
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, I got a couple of these Oorang bred bitches." He's like, "They're real big, Joe. They're real big." And we get there, and he's got 6 damn dogs.
8.
He had 8.
It was 8.
Yeah, That's right, because we got rid of. When we placed two, who did we place the other two?
I don't
with?
even remember.
I know we ended up placing two. Now that you brought that up, but he gets there, and like the smallest dog is 85, maybe 90
These some bitches
pounds.
were huge.
Like there was one female that was 120 all day. It is the biggest Airedale I've ever seen. I remember when I was a kid, like she'd literally like almost be up under my armpit.
They were big, like that
middle of my.
They were as big as that wolfhound.
Yeah, like that one female definitely was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I don't know how they really the Oorang line. I don't know how they bred them to get them so big. If they added something in.
That was bigger. It was bigger dogs, and that was all before the Depression.
Yeah.
All right, they had all those. They had that whole Oorang line. I've got some Trapper Trader Hunter magazines right now from 1915, and it says Oorang Airedales.
Yeah.
You know, $100.
Yeah.
$100, dude. That was in 1915. A brand new rifle was $13.
Yeah.
A new shotgun, a 22 rifle was $6. A new high powered rifle was $20. You know, like I was like, what in the hell? And some of these dogs were $100, but it was like the King's dogs. That's what they were. But then it got to be where they were so good at catching game. And it's the Depression, man. You can't feed your dog. I can't even feed my kids.
Exactly.
Right.
So like you said, what happened? The demise.
Yeah.
They couldn't sell them. And so what he did is he got rid of all of them. And then that's where the Oorang line originally ended. So there were still some people. This is just a FYI out there, because you'll hear people like, oh, I got, like Johanny started that shit with me that day and had me all bumfuzzled. He's like, oh, these are Oorang bred. They were out of the original Oorang line from years and years ago. That's where they were held, but there's actually no Oorang blood in it because it's been 50 years. That's like people today saying, man, I got that Jeep blood. Motherfucker, Jeep died when I was born. You ain't got no blood off a Jeep. You might have some blood off some blood off some blood that was off a Jeep.
Yeah.
But you ain't got no Jeep blood. And I know there's people out there right now, I can hear it. Oh, Lord, I don't know what I'm talking about. But the easiest way I can tell everybody is there's 4 quarters in a dollar. If you take 75 cents away, you ain't got but a quarter left, right?
Yeah.
So if I had a puppy off a Jeep and I bred that dog, that female, 3 different times to 3 other males that weren't off a Jeep, I ain't got no more Jeep blood.
It's washed out.
It's gone.
Yes,
Just
sir.
because it was in there 37 generations ago, get off of it. Boy, that right there gets me on my soapbox. Make me mad as hell. Don't even talk about Jeep. Get you a Range Rover. You don't get a Jeep. You get a Range Rover. I drive a G-Wagon. You can get a Jeep. I ain't, man, y'all full of shit. See what you was doing, Javier? You get me all fired up.
No, don't blame it on me.
Oh, I'm blaming it on you right off the bat. It's all your damn fault. You was supposed to talk about these damn big dogs now and I got all on it. The ruination and damnation of the American Pit Bull Terrier. Do you know what the ruination of the American Pit Bull Terrier is?
Enlighten me.
Pit Bull Terrier owners.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's some dumbasses that somebody bought one. It's, hey, man, I got this dog off Jeep, bred it 19 times to a St. Bernard and a German Shepherd and started selling them full-blooded puppies.
Wow.
Look, dude, I know it sounds harsh, but that's really a lot of shit that happens.
Yeah.
And I, for the misinformed out there, I apologize for people who have had to deal with that. Like you said, like your friend who thought he was getting something, then does a DNA test, and it's not that.
Yeah.
Those guys work hard for their money.
Right.
And they deserve to have what they're told they're getting.
Absolutely.
So people just they just got to do better, man.
Definitely. Yeah. Just be honest. I mean, honesty and integrity is, I think, something everybody should strive to do, no matter if they're breeding dogs, talking about them, in life. We don't even got to talk about dogs. Just have integrity and be honest with people. It takes you a long way.
You sure you're 18 years old?
I got an old soul, brother.
I'm telling you, your mama must have whooped your ass.
A couple times.
A couple
Didn't do it
times.
He said a couple times.
But no,
too- had
that
a little-
yeah, I was going to say, get some act right.
yeah.
So you said like breeding dogs, talking dogs. How do you feel about the breeding? Different breedings like line breeding, different types of inbreeding. Have you studied much on that?
I haven't got too much into it. I definitely want to, like, I've talked to some people about it, but I mean, I think they all have their place.
Mm.
I don't want to get too much into the stereotypes or the stigmas behind them.
Yeah.
I've heard some, but I think it definitely has its place and it can be beneficial in a program, especially when you have a look that you want to have. Line breeding will definitely be a beneficial thing to keep what you have, and then outcross, of course, is something that complements it. But yeah, like I said, I'm not too well versed in it, but it's definitely something I'm going to be getting into here in the future.
That's the long and the short of it, what you just said. If there's a certain look that you want or a certain thing that you're breeding for, that's what you got to do.
Right.
It really there's so much to do with the breeding. Lee Robinson, that Raymond Plummer's another one on breedings. Mister Raymond, he deals with Catahoulas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I tell you what, you need to get. I need to hook you up with Raymond.
He has some big dog stuff too. That he
Raymond's had all kinds of stuff. He sat with him, wolfhounds, all that
I
shit.
say he loves dogs.
Yeah,
he's
but,
dog enthusiast.
But they call him the godfather of the Catahoula, and rightfully so. Just old country man, just old country boy from Marc. Used to be a game warden. He's got good stories. Dude, I think he'd be a good podcast.
Okay.
Definitely. He's been phenomenal for ours.
Yeah, I definitely like to talk to him. That'd be amazing if you guys could definitely point me towards him. That'd be cool.
We'll put y'all together.
And I'm a fan of Catahoula as well too. It's a beautiful dog.
Now some of the old stuff, some big dogs, and now you got to stop and think. Like to us, a big dog is anything over 60 pounds. That dog big,
right?
Because all our cur dogs, I ain't gonna say all of them, but most of our cur dogs are 40 to 60 pounds.
Yeah, I like the 40 to 50 pound cur dogs.
They move really good where we're at.
Yeah, they can beat the bushes.
But you get like in these mountains. I got to thinking about that, like with that Great Dane. That might not be a bad deal right there.
No, yeah, them long legs.
Yeah, covering that ground real quick. Yeah. I don't know. We need
to heat with a big dog. That's the only bad thing about big dogs.
I wonder how they handle the heat though.
Yeah. I mean, it's just physically, it's always harder for a big dog to cool off than a smaller dog, just because it's more. Do
we know anybody that's running Great Danes? Javier, you know anybody that's hunting with Great Danes?
No, I would talk to him if I did, but I don't currently know anybody.
To be the original boarhound, you would think there's got to be somebody out there.
It's definitely somebody out there. It's got to be somebody there, but
they got to be.
Yeah, I know I've seen videos on the internet. No, it's not real common.
Well, I haven't researched. I haven't looked. Like I said, I knew those guys years ago, but I don't even know if they're even hunting now. They were like 60, 70 years old.
I know some people from Florida used to occasionally use them.
Florida.
Can we hate on Florida?
Guys been around.
I ain't hating on Florida at all. Everybody we talk to is from Florida.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Me and Nathan's arguing all the time about this shit. We've had a lot of people from Florida. A lot. Well, I guess because they hog hunt a lot too. So I don't know.
I mean, they have a lot of hogs there.
We got to see what Javier wants to talk about. He's tired of listening to us.
No.
What do you want to touch on next? Like I said, because I don't do this. I don't have no damn questions like written down or nothing.
Right. Man. I mean, we could really definitely some massive talk. We talk about my favorite breed, the South African Boer Wolf.
Yeah.
I did do a video covering the history. That was a breed that had to be, it's some people that say it's a land race breed, but with that, I don't think it would be the outcome of the look now if it was a land race breed that was never touched by man or man had their hands on the breedings of them. It would look different because man look and wants a certain structure and phenotype and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And also something I think disproves the land race statement is there's variance within the breed as well. So with that, it had to be some breeding and crossbreeding to other things to get that look. Like there's a terrier type of the South African Borbal. It's a way smaller dog,
What?
more high, yeah, more high energy,
Wait a minute.
more high,
I didn't know this.
yeah,
The
yeah,
fuck you talking
yeah.
about?
It's variants in the
You
South
ain't on
African
no
Borbal.
bullshit, are you?
Oh no, sir, I got a video on my page
Well,
actually
you see,
talking about.
I'm gonna get on there. I want to see it because I haven't heard of this. I'm like the terrier deal. That's my thing. And if it's a smaller terrier type, then I'll have to have at least 3 of them.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's like breeding for the exact look of that,
Shit, I would.
but it's a thing though.
That's wild because like honestly, I'm always talking shit, but cutting up. But like I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a terrier type of them. It's smaller, and sometimes it looks like a deformity because the heads are still big, but the ears are so they look a little funny sometimes. But yeah, it's definitely a thing.
So they probably look
But
like Pat Lewing and Rodney. No, we gotta check. We gotta check into that. I'm gonna look on your page and find that video.
okay,
About
yeah,
that
definitely do
shit
that.
too. All right, so tell us some more on the history of it, and I'll quit interrupting you.
Gotcha. Like I said, there's 4 types of terrier we just talked about. There's the bulldog type. It's of course shorter, wider chest, shorter muzzle, doesn't live as long, may have more health problems within it. Then there's the hound type of the South African Borbal. They say this is the superior, athletically superior type of the South African Borbal. Can run for a long time. Its wind capacity is amazing. Endurance is amazing, of course, and is used for catch work, really anything that the man wants it to do. And I know somebody that actually has one and has built this program on a terrier, not a terrier, excuse me, hound type South African Borbal. What they do, and they do run a little smaller as well, of course, but still they get 125 pounds. I think is a gentleman's dog. That's a hound type.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
because I seen an 8-month-old that was 145.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Waxman, Chris Waxman. He's got some Borbals and like they are the truth. I seen that dog at 8 months old. He was it might have been 146. I don't know. It's 145, 146. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know that when we carried that last load of feed up there to him, that dog was already 160 something at 10 months old.
Wow.
Oh, he's just like that. He had a female in there. I don't know how big that son of a bitch was, but I promise you, there ain't been many women I've had my arms around that was any bigger than her. And I like a big woman. You know what I'm saying? That bitch was big and mean. She would hit that gate, and I promise you, I ain't never been scared of no dogs.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch right there, I was like, I'm not gonna test it. I bet she was 180. Literally, she had to be about 180.
That's a big female.
Yeah.
That's a real big female.
Well, the ones he's got, I know for a fact that the daddy to that pup was supposed to be the largest here in the States for sure.
Wow.
And he actually told me how much it weighed, but I can't remember. I really can't. And the reason I say I want to be accurate when I say it, because I don't want him to be listening to me like, I didn't tell him that shit.
Yeah.
But he got it out of Texas.
Yeah, that's crazy. The dogs do run that big sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's natural, not a product of overfeeding. It's just
not just big dogs.
Especially with the history of the English Mastiff in them. English Mastiff, the heaviest dog recorded in history was an English Mastiff. I think they said it was 7 feet in length and 364 pounds.
Yeah, I knew there was one that was it that what Hercules was it? It was over 300.
Yeah, I ain't heard of him.
Now this was back in the 80s. I want to say it was in the 80s or early 90s. He held the Guinness Book of World Records for the heaviest dog. at that time.
Yeah.
And that could have been just like here for that breed. I don't know. And I don't know if it was English Mastiff or if it was a Neo.
It was probably one of them because those two are
Some is
known
big.
to get real thick. Yeah. But that dog was Zorba. That was a dog's name, Zorba. The one that was 360.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of dogs. But yeah, then finally with the Boerboel types is the Mastiff type, the one that you see gets to 200 pounds or 180, just a real bigger dog. And they also don't live that long, I think, but that's just based off their size and their structure and their heart capacity as well, even on how long they live.
And that now on those dog, like we were talking about heart problems and stuff with the bigger running dogs. Do you know of any like heart issues and stuff or circulatory problems with these bigger type Mastiff dogs?
I don't know names. I just know the Neo. That's really one of the main breeds that is real prone to the heart conditions.
I got you.
But as far as names, I can't remember. I just can't remember.
No, you're good. I ain't trying to put you on the spotlight. I am in a way, but I'm not trying to overdo it because like
right.
What I'm hoping for is that on these things that I'm asking you, is like there'll be some information out on this very soon. And then I can go right here to Instagram, hit it, and be like, okay, I see what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Throw a little gas on that fire.
I haven't got too much into the health side of it. But I know like the Rottweilers and I know Dobermans now. DCM is one big thing within them. Is a heart condition that they have. But which is starting to come to the Mastiffs. I mean, well, not starting to. The Mastiffs have had it as well with them. So that's one thing. I know DCM is one thing that is big in the Mastiffs as far as heart failure.
Gotcha. That's I was trying to think of because see, like with the health issues, and it's not so much even as health issues, it's just general health, period.
Right.
For what we do. And like with when I was into all the bulldogs, that was the biggest thing. Like every day was about exercise and diet. Every day.
Right.
And 100%, like for real, is all the guys back then, all of us were in good shape. We were in good health. We all exercised. We worked out too. Yeah. And, our dogs were a reflection of a lot of us too. And Absolutely. So it was like we tried to keep them like that. And with these hunting dogs, there's some people that I know that are real serious about it. And they exercise them. And their diet is on point the whole night. And then there's some that don't do shit. They throw them out there and that's what it is.
Right.
And that's I guess that's another reason I ask so many questions like that is because if I got a dog that has so much drive that it literally will run itself to death, how come you don't? How come your dog won't leave out from under your feet?
Yeah.
And even hunt, it's like, okay, so what are we doing different? Or if you got a dog that'll do a whole lot and then mine won't, why won't my dog? That's the biggest issue in my whole thing is like, why? I got to know the reasons why.
And I mean, that's a good thing to have though. People should always want to know why and not just or just say exactly or yeah, right. It's good to question things just to understand more.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like you like we were talking about, like I asked you about different breedings. Man, I know so many game dogs that were brother, sister, daddy, daughter, like tight.
Yeah.
And they would do that over and over.
Yeah, I learned that you can really tightly inbreed the American Pit Bull Terrier.
Yeah, but not all dogs can handle that.
No, they can't. No.
It's
and that to me because the American Pit Bull Terrier has the bulldog influence in it, and the genetics of it, but the bulldog is known to have softer genes than other breeds. So like they they get hit with something, it's gonna hit them hard.
Yep. Well,
Like,
and they're not a formulated breed.
right.
Not 100% formulated. You know, like they don't all have the same look or color or, you know, or whatever. Like we were talking about a while ago with the other mastiffs, like you can have all three types in one litter.
Yep. Same thing with bulldogs.
Yep. So with bulldogs, man, you can have a solid white one, a light gray one, or blue, even in game dogs. Like people have that misconstrued really, really badly because they're like, all the blue dogs started here. Man, there's always been blue dogs. They just weren't promoted.
Right. It's a dilute gene.
Exactly. It's always been. And
right.
but you can have a patchwork dog. You know, you can have a tricolor, you can have solid black, solid white, solid red, all in the same litter. And the parents don't have to have any of those colors. And then they can be all different sizes in the same litter. That's one reason why I feel like a true American Pit Bull Terrier is one of the few dogs that's still a real dog.
Right.
You know?
I agree with you. I mean, that it does solidify them in that stature though. I mean, it's like I don't like I said, I can't speak too much on the Neo, but it's like I said, we've talked about some of the misconceptions and some things. Like there's still quality Neos out there.
Yeah.
But it's just that trash the all breeds, well, it's most breeds of the Mastiff. They trash them because of the just the stereotypes that have been pushed out there and the regurgitation of statements without any research or without any structural literature behind it. And that can really damage a breed. I mean, we see it now. I mean, everybody's like, all these Neos are trash. They can't move. They can't run. Mm-hmm. I've seen a video of Neo doing catch work on a hog.
Really?
Multiple. I think three. It was three of them. I'm pretty sure.
See, I've never. Well, I'll take that back. I think I did see a video. It's been a while back of a guy who had he was maybe in Romania or somewhere, and he had that dog and it was caught. And I don't even think they're supposed to have like catch dogs, you know. But I was always like, man, I bet that son gonna just be bad news on a big, you know. And I've always wondered why a lot of hog hunters, why they didn't run the band dog or, you know, a Mastiff and a pit cross.
Yeah.
Why didn't they? Why don't they? And there's some that do, but it's not a lot.
Not real common. No, it's not. That's a great question. I'm not really sure. I mean, I know like the Neapolitan Mastiff Pit Bull, American Pit Bull Terrier cross was real famous back in the late 90s or early 80s, early 90s. Everybody was doing that.
Back when I was your age.
The Lucero band dog, I'm pretty sure, is what really.
Yeah, that's exactly, man. That's dead on. That's what got me interested in a band dog. Period.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like early 90s, 92, 93, somewhere in there. I was, like I said, I was probably your age then, close to it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's a long fucking time ago. My God.
I feel like on the band dog somewhat too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's bloodlines in those as well. Like there's different bloodlines. Some have been foundational in band dogs of today, which I found out. But yeah, like Swinford, Lucero, I did some research on all of them. I think I even pulled from an article that Lee Robinson posted talking about them with the English Mastiff Terrier crosses. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I think one thing, what was I going to say? It's just a lot of people have done stuff that's been done already, I think, and try to be different with it. But I mean, I don't think there's a lot that's been untouched in the dog world. And with that, I think some people like get caught up in, oh, I did this already. Anybody else doing this? But it's been done. And some people, I think you got to just give credit where credit's due on some of that stuff too, as far as history. But some people don't even do the research to understand what they're doing now has been done, or even pull from it to succeed with it and improve on it.
Without a doubt, that's probably the most. I don't even know how to put this. That's the most mature thing I've heard most anybody say that's been around dogs. And the reason I say that, there's people right now that you and I both know, they think that they have bred a couple of dogs together and created this one special thing. And there's been people doing it forever.
Yeah.
Like, you are not the first.
Like, people have been doing bull herders and pit bulls to Dutch Shepherds or Mountain Wilds. It's been done.
Man, people been doing that on Hawaii, New Zealand, places like that for decades. The bird bull. First time I seen a bird bull, I about fell out. I was like, oh man. You know, it was just an English pointer crossed to a good game dog.
Yeah. And
man, that dog was something. But so we started breeding some of them up, and everybody's like, man, y'all done got y'all something going. I was like, what do you mean? I ain't never seen them. I was like, oh no, like I got this from an 80-year-old man.
Right.
And his daddy was breeding them too.
It's been here.
So that's 100 years. You know, it's like it's been here. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean that it's not here.
Absolutely.
Or that it's not there. In order to see everything, you got to get out of your yard.
Got to, yeah. Like, most people just want to talk about their dogs too. That's one thing. I know a lot of people, they don't even want to hear nothing else about no other breed or no other breeder, dog, none of that. Let's talk about my dogs, and I'll tell you everything that I want to hear.
Yep.
Why not talk about some history? Why not talk about how some dogs were developed? Why not talk about the state of what we think the next fad will be within dog breeding and working dogs?
I got something right here that I think is interesting. This is a friend of mine, and literally he is texting me this right now. He said, hey, is a brother-sister breeding common? He said, it just feels like that's too close. He said, I'm just curious of your thoughts on this. And I said, we've done that breeding. I said, we have done it periodically, but never consistently. And what I mean by that is, like, you can have a line of dogs and you can, like, on your third generation, you might want to do a check, or fourth generation. You might want to do that just to check them, just to check what your bloodline is. That doesn't mean like I'm going to breed every puppy in that litter to each other. That never means that, you know? And so we just do that as a check. And then that hits what he was saying. He said, what he's learned is from Germans, and, you know, and they're all in their 60s. He said, but they've never talk about anything that close. Granddaughter to grandfather and only half siblings. That's not even line breed. That it is, but it's very sparse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like uncle to niece, aunt to nephew, you know, daddy, daughter, mama, son, and granddaughter and grandfather, whatever, you know, that all that's good. You're still gonna have a efficiency of inbreeding if you're using that same line.
Right.
So it's like, how big is your coefficient? You know, how tight do you want it? Well, if you want, like, and this goes to the bulldogs, to the game dog stuff. If they got these things that I want, I'm gonna breed them as tight as I can breed them. You know,
right.
As long as it's consistent, as long as all the puppies are consistent, as long as they're healthy and there's no issues. If I do it one time and it doesn't work, guess what? I ain't gonna do it no more. Just don't do that no more. You can't breed them that tight.
Yeah.
So which I'd love to say, you know, I hope in a year's time, we can have another conversation and I can be like, okay, now what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I don't want to keep putting you on like that, but these are things that people ask me. So that's food for thought on your side of things. You could start looking at that.
Yep. I'm gonna definitely start looking at that just because you asked. I'm gonna definitely make it my mission to make sure I know how to answer that or give my great opinion on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's good. Cause I think that's helpful to you, helpful to the dog world. And I think it's what, you know, guys who've been doing it a long time, they should do. They should try to be like, okay, look, this is what's going to work, you know, or this is what I would ask you.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if you've got a newcomer to it, they're not going to ask you the same questions I'm asking.
No, they're not. No, and some of them don't even like to listen to older guys. I'm gonna be honest. Some of them are like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, they don't want to hear it.
Nope.
But guess what? If you want that good, you got to come to the old guys.
Absolutely.
Now there's some young guys out there that's got some real good shit too. I'm just talking shit. But there's some young guys that they're doing it the right way. Guys like yourself, even though you haven't started your line of dogs and all that yet, you're on the right path. And that's what turned a good dog person turns into a good dog handler, turns into a good dog breeder, turns into a good dog man.
Absolutely.
That's just how it goes. And it takes a long time to get to that dog man status.
Oh, yeah.
I figure about 30, 40 more years, and I'm going to be there.
Okay.
I think it'd probably be about 30 more years, and I'll have that shit whooped.
I got the rest of my life ahead of me, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I got something to work for.
All right, man. Well, see, we got almost 2 hours in on this. We just been talking.
I mean, it was fun though. It definitely.
We ain't learned nobody nothing yet.
I've learned.
So they're gonna have to learn. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about me.
Speak for yourself.
No, I'm talking about me. Like us, we ain't learned nobody nothing yet. No. So he's teaching. I learned something. So that tells you, all you listeners out there, because some of them, here's what's gonna happen. They're gonna turn it on. And all you son bitches know who I'm talking about. Y'all gonna listen to about 3 minutes, maybe 5. Y'all gonna go, I don't want to listen to that shit. You're gonna cut it all the way off, or you're gonna fast forward. So this is where you fast forward to. Y'all need to go back and listen and learn something. And then when you learn something on that, then you need to go hit up Javier. Not Javier, but Javier.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the correct way to say it. This young man has got his shit together, and he's putting out some good information. He's putting out good content. Y'all go check him out, Catch Dog Concepts.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, man. Thank you so much. And we look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Absolutely. And let me say one thing.
Yes.
I'm gonna say my outro on y'all channel.
Do it.
Let's continue to better our minds and dogs, people.
Amen.
Amen.
That just puts me in a good mindset altogether. This whole show has.
Mm-hmm.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you.
Yep.
And until the next time, you be good.
Thank you, Javier.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Man, 18-year-old young man got his head on right. So all you old guys out there, older guys or older dog men, middle-aged dog men, anybody that's older than him, think you know something and you can be helpful and positive, hey, y'all holler at him. Catch Dog Concepts.
You want to learn more about the bigger breeds and stuff like that?
Like, he's really knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And like, I'm not tooting my horn by no means, but like literally before he answered a question, like when we got on the topic of the Presa, I will sit over here and I wrote down all the breeds that it's made of. And I'm not a genius. I've just been reading this shit for 30, 40 years. So it's like, I know this, and then he spits them right out. And I was like, hell yeah, I like that stuff. And so it's like with these big dogs, most guys who have hog hunted, you've all had some type of infatuation with a little bitty Patterdale Terrier, Jag Terrier, and then you go from that to a big old Mastiff or a Boer Bull or a Tosa Inu or a Fila or something like that. But yet we all get to that middle ground. We come back to that American Pit Bull Terrier or some type of Bulldog for a lot of us. So if you want to learn more about the bigger breed and you might want to try that, whether for a pet, protection dog, just a guardian or whatever, check it out, look at it, and he'll have some good information out there for y'all. And if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, y'all make sure to leave them for us. And y'all come check us out. Y'all come hunting with us sometime. We've had quite a few that have showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I about put my foot in my mouth a few times.
And even one or two that showed out a little bit.
Yeah, they done pretty good. Hey, Christian Lanier. And this is the thing about it. The guys that are members of the Patreon account, like, they get the first dibs. They get to come stay right here at the De La Casa, right here in the front yard, in the Camper De La Casa. And you get to go on the most famous hunting grounds in Alabama. with us. But you got to join, be on the Patreon account, or you ass ain't come. So, hey, we appreciate y'all. Y'all stay up with us. Thanks for all the support. And we out.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that episode. If there's anything or anyone you'd like to hear on the podcast, or if you'd like to come hunt with us, don't hesitate to contact us at dixiedoggers01@gmail.com.